Welcome to the Inner Blueprint Podcast. I'm Shawn Foyer, the Universal Mindset Disruptor. With over 20 years of turning blueprints into thriving home improvement businesses, I've learned that the strongest foundations start in your mind. Whether you're building a business or your own success, we're here to reshape how you think and face daily life and always remind you to enjoy the ride. Welcome back to another episode of Inner Blueprint, the podcast for thinking better thoughts to get better results. I'm your co-host, Shawn Foyer, the Universal Mindset Disruptor, here today with the
Kaitlin Foyer.
Amazing, radiant.
That's me, motivation and empowerment expert.
Yes. Are you feeling that?
I am.
Are you all in?
Always.
Are you sure?
Absolutely.
All right.
I can't not be. Let's be real.
All right. Well, today we don't have a guest. It's just you and I having a conversation, but I kind of wanted to share a little bit of our why.
Yeah, why do we do what we do?
Yeah, why do we have the business we have? Why do we run the mindset program? And even at times, why do we have a podcast? Like, what are we trying to do here? Are we trying to grow our business? Are we trying to have impact? So
I don't like to say trying because I think trying is lying. What are we doing here?
okay.
What are we doing here?
What are we doing? What are we doing here? I don't know. I woke up this morning and you told me I had to be to the studio. So why am I here?
That's also true.
Why am I here? What is happening?
Shawn, your whole mission in life is impact.
Yes.
That's why you do what you do, is not for anything else but the impact. I know that about you.
Yeah. Is that rare?
It's very rare. It's extremely rare. A lot of people do it for the ego, for the money, so many different reasons. I mean, it could be like to prove someone wrong, right? But like everything that drives you is for the impact you make. It's very impressive to me, and I can't bullshit it, right? Like I live it, I see it every day, and if it wasn't there, I would have been long gone long ago, right? Because so many people say they'll say things like, oh, I do this, for just the impact I'll make in this world. And then you see what they do behind the scenes and you're like, that's bullshit. That's not real.
Yeah.
Like every decision you do, even decisions where I'm like, this seems like a waste of time. This seems like a waste of your energy. Like, why are you crying over this?
When I don't waste my time and energy. I'm very utilitarian.
But sometimes you do make me question, but then I see it pay off in that impact. And I'm like, okay, he was right again. As much as I hate
Well,
that
it's
term.
funny too, because I do really focus on the impact, and people might question that and say, well, you have to worry about the money. Well, I do like money, but
Yeah.
I know the bigger impact we have, the more money that's going to come back to us. And that's one of my core beliefs is, how do I make more money? I have bigger impact. And that's what drives me to have bigger impact, besides the fact that I just like helping people.
Well, one of the first things you told me about money was, because I remember we had a conversation early on, and I said, money's, I don't need money to be happy though. Like I find happiness in a lot of different things, right? And you said, well, Kaitlin, money is just energy.
Yeah.
And the more you have, the more you're able to give.
Yeah, and if happy's energy, I'm happier when I have more money energy, just for
And
the
I
energy
am
of
too.
it.
Let's be real. I'm going to say it. Like the more money I have, the happier I am. I think there was like a recent study that was proven that money actually can buy happiness, right? To an extent, as long as your mindset is right. But
Yeah.
it's very true. Money is a form of energy, and the more I have, the more I'm able to give, the more I'm able to do, the happier I am, honestly, which is so great. But your entire theory in life that has proven you over and over and over again is do what you love for the impact you can make, and the money will always follow. And it does. Yeah. It's very impressive.
Well, I did. I mean, early in my career, I heard that saying, find something you love and you'll never work a day in your life.
Yeah.
And I tried implementing that into various things that I was doing, but it literally was when I took a job making less money than I had in 15 years and just leaned into the work and found out I did truly enjoy helping people. And I tried to do it a lot in my personal relationships, which doesn't always serve. And as I started to do it professionally, that's when my real growth started to happen. So I think to really dive into this, and again, we do the work we do professionally that we get paid because we love helping people. We do this podcast because we like helping people. Kaitlin and I have talked about, we spend money, time, every single month, and we don't promote this. There's not advertising on this podcast. It's literally a free message. And the reason we do that is we want people that aren't working with us, that may just have this shared with them, listening, to add value to their life, to find or hear something that they can change the way they're thinking so they get better results. And, in our business, we operate on EOS, We have a coach that comes in, and
Yep.
we have core values. And anybody listening who's familiar, you've probably got some sort of core values for your business.
And they're very important. I mean, before I met you, what I was doing in business was I was helping people build businesses, but to build business, you have to have culture within your business.
Yes.
And those start with your core values. So it was something that I'd helped many businesses come up with over the years. And it's something that we have in our business because even though it is a small business, we have to have them. You have to have core
We have
values.
to have them. And because we're a business, we have more customers, way more customers than we have employees. And so we've started sharing these core values on some of our group calls with some of our clients. And as we were, and you'll see I might get a little emotional as I share this with you listeners, but I just want anybody listening to us to understand really what Kaitlin and I are about and what this mission is about. You know, it's interesting because I work a lot with AI on improving systems and improving things in our business. And we have a really good business model. And I was asking AI basically what I needed to know next and its answer. And if you guys haven't used AI, it gets to know you, your business, even that somewhat the way you think. But it said the one thing I needed to realize is I'm not just building a business. We are building a movement.
Which is so funny because that's something we came up with years ago.
I mean, our old podcast, Enjoy the Ride, was the movement.
The movement.
Right?
Yeah. And so it's so funny because it's like it's come back full
Full
circle.
circle.
Totally.
And again, right now, we're at a place in our business where we're not taking on a lot of new clients,
Nope.
but we're still pushing for this impact. And I guess that's the reason. So I'm going to give you the 4 core values. Kaitlin and I have worked together along with Heather, our ops, and Trisha, our EOS coach. And then this last quarterly meeting, which anyone who does EOS, it's an all-day meeting where you reevaluate the quarter and set some new goals. We did a core value speech.
Yeah.
And Kaitlin put these words together. She did a really good job capturing my emotion because I really feel these words. But the core values are: we inspire, we are authentic, we are painfully positive, we are all in, and we enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
And again, we don't just live those. We are trying to help other people. If you're listening, I hope we can inspire you to inspire others. I can hope we can inspire you to be authentic,
Give you
to be
permission.
positive. Give yourself permission. Whatever you're going to do, go all in. Like, don't play small. Go all in on you and enjoy the ride. You know, life is going to give us ups and downs. It's just trying to find better thoughts, better feelings in the moment.
And it's so interesting because when I was writing this, I wasn't just thinking, usually in an organization, your core values, you drip them onto all of the employees, right? Whatever departments those are in, high-level leaders, not leaders, just whatever it is. We have a very small business, and so I was thinking, I want to inspire, as our first core value, our clients, right? Like
Yes.
this is, if I were to do this, these are about the clients that we work with. This is about our audience. This is about you listening right now. This is a part of our movement and everything that it entails. And so it's great that Shawn gets so emotional when he reads it. And, he does. I don't know if he will today. I guess we'll see in a moment. All right. And so our core value speech, when you share it with others, you get emotional, which is so amazing that happened. So I guess we're going to see.
Well, when we talk about, the emotional mind is the subconscious mind. And again, I've been really trying to live these principles. And so I think the reason the words get to me is that's become part of who I am, right? I mean, it drives every conversation. It drives everything we do. So, all right, let's go ahead.
All right.
We'll share them. And I don't normally read on the podcast, but we're going to kind of read these to you. At Shawn Consulting, our values aren't just words on a wall. They're who we are. They guide how we show up, how we serve, and how we create real transformation. If you're here, if you're listening, chances are these values resonate with you too. We inspire. We believe in possibility. Big, bold, limitless possibility. Our mission is to help people break through their limitations and step into their full potential. But we don't just talk about it. We live it. We push ourselves to grow, to expand, to lead by example. Because inspiration isn't something you tell people. It's something you show them. We are authentic. What you see is what you get. No fluff, no pretending, no playing small. We believe real transformation starts with truth, so we show up as our real, unfiltered selves. We speak with honesty, we honor our commitments, and build deep trust, whether it's a coaching session, a mastermind, or even a podcast conversation. We keep it real, raw, and powerful. We are painfully positive. Life happens, challenges come, but here's the deal. We don't let obstacles define us. We define them. We choose to see the opportunity, the lesson, the growth. We don't just believe things will work out. We make them work out. Positivity isn't just a mindset. It's our greatest tool for creating the future we want. We are all in. There's no halfway in this business. When we commit fully to our clients, our mission, and our own evolution. We bring the energy, the passion, and the intensity because we know what drives real change is if we say we're going to do something, we don't just do it, we own it. Last one, enjoy the ride. We work hard, we push limits, but we're not just here for the results. We're here for the journey. We celebrate the wins, we embrace the challenges, and we make sure to have fun along the way because true success isn't about the destination. It's about loving the process of getting there. This is who we are. This is what we stand for. And if this speaks to you, you're in the right place. Welcome to the ride. Let's go. Let's go. Well, again, I've been called cheesy. I've also been told that's why people work with me is because I'm a little cheesy. But
You are so cheesy.
you know, as we say those words and we share them with you, I mean, that literally is the driving force. I mean, me and Kaitlin, you know, our EOS quarterly, January to March 31st, we were going nonstop. And if it wasn't work, it was cheer for our daughters, but it was mostly us working. And again, why are we working this hard? It's not for the money. In fact, working this hard, it didn't do a lot for our money. It did a lot for our impact this quarter. So,
Absolutely.
I mean, and again, we're sharing these with listeners because we want to hear inspiration coming back. We want to hear positivity coming back from you. We want to hear that you're playing all in. Are we seeing that with our paid clients?
Oh, absolutely. It's reassurance, it's affirmation, like it's, you know, to what we do. It speaks to what we do. When I'm having a hard day or I feel like, you know, it could be something in the business, I'm not having the impact or the connection I am with like one client or a group or, you know, at home, if it's personal, if like the girls are being a certain way or friends are showing up a certain way and I feel like I'm worthless, right? We all have those thoughts. Things feel like I'm having a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. I don't say day, I say like few moments.
Yeah.
But where I just start to really doubt myself, I get a text about a paradigm shift a client had, the difference we've made in their lives, how something I said completely changed their outlook. And this was, you know, the results of it. And I'm like, yeah, that's why I do it. Like, I could go work for corporate America and have a mindless job where I just get paid a lot to do something that doesn't require the emotional, which is my hardest thing. Everyone knows that about me, the emotional ties that this work does. I could do that. I could go be a zombie again. I could go be a robot again. I could do that. And some days I'm like, man, that would be really nice just to show up to an office, work, and then, you know, because with us, it's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We don't have an off day. We don't have an off moment.
No.
And I actually love that. I don't want to ever tell my
too.
clients, you can't reach out to me. In fact, I tell them, text me. I don't care what time of day it is. I will respond the second I can. But like, there's no business or working hours for us.
One of our core values, we're all in. All in means all in. I mean, I had a client call Saturday. I took a client call on Sunday. The Sunday one was a client that was in need. Like they had some stuff come up, and I mean, we're all in. You're never going to have me ignore you. You're never going to say, "Oh, sorry, it's Sunday." You mean Kaitlin? And we had a little getaway. My clients are important. I am all in on this work. I am all in on trying to serve other people, and it is. You know, it's emotionally a lot to carry. You know, we have hundreds of clients that we hold space for. Every single one of them has a big goal they're working for. Every single one of them has things that are holding them back. And we are, with our work and with our impact, just carrying that all the time. And it is fun to see that it's working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy because this goes back to when we were coming up with these core values. Shawn and I have a word of the year that we do. And if you don't do this is a very good tip for you. It's not too late. You can do it now. In fact, I've been going down this rabbit hole that the beginning of the year really shouldn't be January, that it was supposed to be April.
Yeah.
So we're perfect timing. But a word of the year, right? And a couple of years back, I said, I want ours, this is 2 years ago, I want ours to be inspiration. I just want to inspire people. I don't want to just motivate them. Like, I want to truly inspire them. And that's in everything that we do, everything we say, how we show up, who we are. And so that was an easy one for me when we were coming up with core values to make like the first one.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's my mission is to inspire others, to grant permission to others to live their best lives.
Yes. And I think for us, I mean, how do we inspire? You know, this isn't our work. This is our lifestyle. It really is. I mean, this is how we live. And we do hear it quite often. Oh, that's not real. It can't be that good. And it's challenging. I mean, with our schedule, with client events, with speaking, with all the different things that we do, but it's a lifestyle. You know, when we say these words, you know, we just had an episode drop on, you know, vulnerability and truth. Like we're being real. We're being honest. I mean, I will get on and share if I'm having a bad day and kind of how I'm using some of the tools that we work with to kind of power through that. But yes, inspiration is what this is all about. And so hopefully something we're saying is inspiring you. And if it is, all we ask is you subscribe, that you share it with somebody that you care about. If you need more help, you know, we're not actively trying to grow the business. We do have a few spots available in some of our groups. Reach out to us. I mean, that's being inspired to take action for you. And if it's not with us, be inspired to do something different for you. You know, and I love, you know, in the last week I had, you know, a client call out of the blue after one of our group calls, and he was just calling to tell me thanks for being me. I mean, what? I was like, what?
Yeah,
and,
what work? I'm sorry. Every profession I've had up to this one, that doesn't happen. I didn't used to have doctors call me and say, hey, thanks for being you.
Yeah. No, and that's when I get to feel we are inspiring. We are being painfully positive. You know, the positivity one, I love that. You know, we actually, and I don't know when it'll drop in comparison to this, but we just recorded an episode with Kyle Erdman.
Yeah.
And Kyle is a friend of mine. We worked a little bit together in the past before I had my own consulting business. He reached out to me a few years ago, and we were talking sales, talking process, and he literally said to me, hey, stop. What's different about you? And I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, dude, you've always been positive, but you become like painfully positive. And we took that into one of our core values because I have always been pretty positive and optimistic. But in the last few years, using our inner blueprint tools, doing the daily work, I have become, and Kaitlin has, and a lot of people
I
work
always
with.
was. It's so crazy. I feel like in my life I had no choice to be right. There's a lot of things that were showing up in the physical that were very negative.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to bypass those, but I chose not to focus on those and find the positive in every situation because I love the universal law of contrast or duality, right?
Yeah, the law of polarity.
The law of polarity and just the duality of life that as negative as something is on this side, that pendulum is always going to swing just as far. It'll always swing just as far, which is so amazing to me. And so being painfully positive is not bypassing what's happening. It's choosing to focus instead on what the positive is, on what that opposite of something very negative can be.
Well, it's funny because when I first started my Enjoy the Ride and I was doing like lives on Facebook, I had people call me out and say, oh, you know, you're being painfully positive, but you're spiritually bypassing. You're not feeling the negative emotion.
That's not it.
And that's not it. That's not what we're doing here. And in fact, I don't want to go too deep in the laws. We could do a whole episode, but energy cannot be created or destroyed. Energy just is. And when negative energy comes at you, you have to do something with it. And a lot of people block it, which shuts you down. Enjoy the ride and being painfully positive is feeling the negative emotion, but then perpetual transmutation of energy. What are you going to do with it? And for me, gratitude, maybe some affirmation work, maybe just some observation of the feeling.
Some physical movement to get it out.
Process it. And then from there, you get to decide where you take it.
It's pretty amazing.
I mean, that's one of the tools we teach along with these core values is E plus R equals O.
Yeah.
And again, we have clients have it tattooed on them. It's been so impactful, but the events are going to happen.
They just happen.
E is the events, and we don't control them. I spent a lot of my life trying to, but what we do control is either a reaction or a response, which then creates the outcome. And for me, you know, being painfully positive, being inspirational, being authentic.
That's a big one.
That allows us moment to moment to take events that are happening and to just let them happen. Not good, not bad, just happening. And then how do I take that energy and transmute it, redirect it, do something with it to make for a better outcome? And
it's really amazing. And then, you know, with our work too, we're all in. We have no choice but to be all in. We can't tell someone to do something that we're not doing ourselves. We can't show up a certain way in some situations and not in every other situation. It doesn't work for what we do.
It doesn't work But how did you say that there? How you said that there was, we don't have a choice. We do have a
We
choice.
do have a choice.
And we've actually, had other people that we've learned from or trained under. It's not easy to make the choice to be all in. When you're exhausted and you have commitments you've made, that's where we make the choice. We're doing this. We're all in. We're going to show up for ourselves first. We're going to show up for our clients, for the people that we love and care about. And again, we don't play small. We go all in.
Yeah.
And I think, I feel like we're inspiring others to do that. I mean, I've seen a lot of the business owners,
Yes.
a lot of the powerful women that we work with.
Step into that, because you're taught in a company to leave your problems at the door, right? Like, don't bring them into work, which is a very, very important tool to have, right? But then you're also taught that, like, the second you leave that building, nothing matters anymore, right? So it's like, how can you be all in at work if you have that mentality? If you want to have an impact, how can you leave that at the door, both when you enter and exit? How can that happen? You can't, right? You can't. It doesn't work that way. And so many of our business owners too have gone all in on not just their businesses, but themselves.
Yeah.
Right.
Can you think of a story? I mean, we've shared how we go all in. What's an example? And we can protect privacy, but can you think of anybody right now that we're working with that you've seen just go all in? And I was trying to think of a client example, but as I couldn't help but think of, part of my own story. And it was actually right before I met you. COVID had hit. I had my first group of contractors getting ready to start in March of 2020. And as all of you in the industry know, and anybody listening on this planet that experienced COVID, there was a lot of fear and anxiety that came up. And I know for me, I had 10 business owners. It was my, biggest group up to date, which is kind of interesting to look back in comparison, being like, wow. But every single one of them got nervous, and I was afraid they were going to cancel. And I had a bunch of speaking gigs lined up. They all got canceled. And, all my work comes from Think and Grow Rich. And, there's a chapter 9 on persistence, and I'd been studying that. And I literally had the moment where I doubted if this was going to work for myself. And this is before it was one of my core principles. I was trying to go all in, but again, trying is different than doing. And I actually reached out to a buddy here locally. I'm good at home improvement sales. I thought about taking a job. I actually ran an appointment with one of his reps. And then I had Bob Proctor in my head. And I remember when Bob started out to build his organization, he had the idea to take some Earl Nightingale's information and start speaking about it. And he literally recorded himself. And I've listened to the audio of Bob talking about this. And on his way home, he stopped by his buddy's house. And he went in and he played his recordings of his idea, which basically would end up being the Proctor organization as a training. And his buddy laughed at him. And Bob walked out of that house and got his car. And half the way home was like, that was a stupid idea. I need to do something else. What was I thinking? But then he had this moment and he said, he doesn't see what I see. He doesn't know what I know about myself. And that's when he kind of made the decision to go all in on starting what he did. And I had that same conversation and I used Bob in my mind. I was like, you know what? I know what I'm doing works. I don't know what's going to come of this COVID thing, but I need to lean in on me and I need to go all in. And it's crazy because from that day, I made the decision to go all in, not just on my business, but in on me. It was within 6 months I met you. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't looking for Kaitlin when I was literally just focused on all in on my business, but I was going all in on me. Yeah. And then year over year over year, we've seen 30, 40% growth. I mean, the business is just, last year almost doubling, Q1 doubling again. That's just an example of what happens when you let go of the fear, you let go of the anxiety. Let go of
comparison.
And you go all in on you.
Yeah, well, and it's so funny you share that story, and I came up with like 5 different examples in my head where I've seen that happen, where you're like, you've taken an idea to someone, whether it's one of our clients, one of your friends, a mentor, and they've been like, no, that's stupid, don't do that, or why would you do that, or things like that, and you're like, fuck that, I'm going to go all in on me. And it's so crazy, and it's so funny because when you used to do it more than you do now, right? You're looking for that reassurance or like someone else to tell you this is a really good idea of something you're going to do, and you'll have pushback, right? It's hard because we always are looking for ways to improve.
Yes, and I want feedback, and I want
to
shift
feedback,
the business
right?
to the client's needs too. Definitely.
100%. But then you have people too that have almost talked you out of something, and then you've gone, no, I'm doing it, and it has been a wild success, and it's just confirmation. I guarantee, you listener right now, you've had circumstances like that where you're like, I have this really great idea, and one of your friends or one of your trusted advisors or maybe a parent says, that's really dumb. Why would you do that? And you do it anyway, and it's the best decision you've ever made. And I want to inspire you to do more of that. I want Shawn to inspire you to do more of that, because that is how you live your best life. That is how you really reach your potential.
Yes.
It's not through other people. It's through you.
Yes. I am thinking of a client, and I know they'll be okay me sharing this, but I've been working with the Olsen brothers, Mark and Greg Olsen, for years. I worked with them when I was a coach at CCN. After I left, they came and started working with me on mindset. And, this is a company that had been around for 63 years when I met them, roofing company. From the day I met him, I'm like, you guys aren't roofers. Like, these guys are bougie, they're big thinkers. And I work with a lot of roofers, nothing against roofing, but these guys just had something about them that energetically, and I'm a little woo-woo. I'm like, energetically, this doesn't fit. And so I've been coaching them, pushing them, and they made a decision to totally shift their business, to go from roofing into cabinet refacing. They changed the name, they did branding, and oh my gosh, they have gone through 4 different sales processes. They've mentored under. But the whole time I've watched them, the one thing they've been all in is on themselves, on their purpose, on their mission.
And they've had major shifts in their personal lives because of it.
Yeah,
not just the business life, but when you go all in on you, the personal shifts that happen. I mean, some of them seem like, whoa, why is this happening? But it's because it's not in alignment with who you are when you're all in with yourself. And so it has to. Yes. It's amazing.
And we get to watch them probably, have the best year they've ever had this year.
Well, we watched them last year have the best year they've ever had, and then we're going to watch them this year do it.
And again, all the things we talked about on other episodes, self-image, they don't look the same. The way they talk, the way they think about money, about time, about everything. And it's just, inspiring others to be positive, to go all in, and above everything, enjoy the ride. Like, it's not about the destination. So many times we get caught up thinking about the destination, being frustrated. If the destination was easy, it wouldn't be worth it.
No.
I have so many people, younger professionals I work with that are in their late 20s, early 30s. And, I'm 51 years old, so I get to be wise. And I know I've got a 70-year-old mentor I work with right now. It's all about perspective. But I'm like, man, if you had it all right now, you'd be crying in your Ferrari. You'd be depressed. You actually need this growth, this challenge, so you can fully appreciate where you're going. So it's about the journey. And, for me, we've shared, both of us have lost loved ones. We've had financial challenges. We've had relationship challenges. And that's all in the past. And today, right now, I can give gratitude for all of it, because it made me who I am to be here right now. It made Kaitlin who she is. And
I wouldn't change a thing. It's all part of my journey to get me where I am right now, and I'll never hit that destination.
No.
I'm just going to continue on this journey until I can't anymore.
Yeah.
There will never be a destination that I hit and go, wow, I made it.
And that's what I love about our relationship, is it's all about continual growth, right? And again, when I'm reading those words to that speech, we know if I'm going to help you, listener, get to the next level, I can't say I've arrived. I have to be in process, and I'm always in process. Right now, I'm actually working with another mindset coach who's a lot older than me, a lot wiser, gaining experience. I've got an energy coach I work with that literally, she helps me find subconscious blocks that are at an energetic level. And to some people, this sounds crazy. To me, it's real, and it's working. And Kaitlin seen, and we had a busy first quarter. I crashed and burned a couple times on my mindset because I'm doing the work. I'm not just talking about it. I'm not saying I've arrived. I'm saying I'm just getting started.
I wouldn't say it was like a full crash and burn.
No,
it was
but
like
I've had some minis.
In Mario Kart when you hit like a banana, and you have to spin out a little bit and then you keep going. That's kind of what it was. It wasn't a full crash.
But again, I know it's part of the process.
Absolutely.
I've been through that process multiple times. And for me, and you listening right now, if things are going well and you've all of a sudden run into what feels like a rough spot, that just means you're ready to up level.
Welcome it.
Every time we up level, it gets a little hard. I always say things kind of have to fall apart before they can fall back together.
Always. In a better way, right? They have to fall apart, because if not, everything stays the way it always has.
Yeah, but in that moment, it can feel like it's falling apart. And if you get in your old paradigms or old, set points, it's going to pull you back. So we're always moving forward. We're always trying to inspire. If we can help you anymore, please just let us know. Reach out to us. We love messages. If you like the podcast, if you really like what we're talking about today, subscribe button, share. That's our only ask. We're not doing this portion to build our business. We're doing this portion to build our movement, and we want more people to think better thoughts, create better feelings, so they get better results and help us all enjoy the ride.
That's it.
Thanks for listening. Welcome to the Inner Blueprint Podcast. I'm Shawn Foyer, the Universal Mindset Disruptor. With over 20 years of turning blueprints into thriving home improvement businesses, I've learned that the strongest foundations start in your mind. Whether you're building a business or your own success, we're here to reshape how you think and face daily life and always remind you to enjoy the ride.